What up, good people, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Thorough, a season three episode of Keep It Thorough.
Season
Yes,
3.
sir. Season three episode where we give you the real behind business health, money, and self development and introduce engaging concepts to help you elevate your performance in all areas of life. I'm your host, Cedric Lavelle, joined by my counterpart, Mr. E Double. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
your boy E Double. We back at y'all as he just mentioned for season
Hey,
3. So
man.
we're gonna go
Hey,
ahead.
hey,
We're
you
gonna
know
go
what I'm
ahead
talking
and
about?
clap that up. You
You
know what I'm
feel me?
saying?
Season
It's
three,
been a
baby.
journey. It's been a journey, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But man, in all seriousness, I hope everybody had an amazing holiday break. Hopefully everybody got some time to take off of work and to kind of unplug, recharge them batteries.
Right.
Um, but and also I want to give a shout out to again to everybody who had participated in our 100th episode giveaway. All of the prizes have been issued at this time, and pretty much everybody received their stuff at this
Yeah.
point. So we appreciate y'all, and there will be another giveaway sometime in the near
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, man, we back at y'all season 3, episode 101. And the title of this episode is it's Brick by Brick,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Building the Right Foundation for Business
Yeah.
Success. And as always, man, be sure to check out the website, keepitthorough.com/kits, and check out the kit that corresponds to this episode. And, be sure to podcast with us wherever you podcast and all that good stuff. And without further ado, let's go and kick this thing off,
Let's
man.
go. Let's get to it, man. So here's the real. It's a new year. It's 2024. A lot of people have an interest in starting their own business. Many people want to be entrepreneurs. They want to take that leap of faith and put in the time, energy, effort, the thought into being an entrepreneur, seeing an idea that they might have had and being able to manifest and materialize that idea. But with that being said, we know that you can't build anything from the ground up if you don't have a solid foundation. It's a recipe for disaster. Nothing good happens if you don't have the right foundation when you're wanting to build something. And to be able to thrive and survive when trying to build a business or being an entrepreneur and able to get past some of the industry challenges and the market changes and all of these things that are going to transpire and inevitably happen within your process, the groundwork for building anything has to be well thought out and planned very carefully, right? And the groundwork you put in, that includes your time, your energy, your dedication, the brainstorming, the strategic dialogue that you have with yourself, and the countless amounts of you know planning and executing and trying and failing and all of those things are the bricks. Those things are the bricks that build that foundation for you to see and experience a successful business, right? And so for you to be confident in what you're doing and in the direction that you're going, the foundation has to be set properly, right? Everything that you're wanting to do and everything that you're wanting to create, it doesn't happen when the foundation isn't the way that it needs to be, right? And so those bricks, those things that you're doing to um put in your all rather to get to where you're going, they have to be laid down correctly, strategically, and when you do those things, you set yourself up for business success.
No, absolutely, man. And when you talk about the foundation of a business, right, you really can think about that as like the core of your business. And it's important to have a strong core that, can sustain and support growth and adaptability in, this dynamic business environment that's kind of like ever changing, right? So, steady as you grow. So, when you look at a building, I'll continue with the brick analogy. Each brick has a significant role in completing the structure of that
Right, right.
building. So, in that same vein, and what said was talking about all aspects of your business, from the idea, of the inception to the implementation, contribute to setting up that solid foundation. So the time you spend refocusing, reinvesting, recreating, strategizing, all of those can strengthen your position in your industry, and help to strengthen your core,
Right.
right? So when strategically positioned, your business bricks can effectively support the weight and pressure of your competition and market changes. So a strong business foundation has the power to endure hardships and remain steady amidst shifting market and other challenges, as I just mentioned. So it also enables businesses to grow by providing stability and preparation to scale when those opportunities arise. So it's important to realize that it's not about rushing the
Yeah.
process, but allowing your business to mature and taking advantage of the time it takes to build, because during that process is when you really
Yeah.
learn, right? So laying the foundation brick by brick gives you that opportunity to learn, to adjust, and enhances your business's longevity and prosperity.
That's big. And what you're saying about taking your time and going through the process, that's extremely important. And I think you're able to endure the process and do all the things that are necessary. Look at E over there being all healthy and stuff, drink his veggie juice.
Hey man, apple, kale, spinach, collards, and
Hey
lemon.
man, you got to get to it. Health is wealth, baby.
Hey,
But no, with
absolutely.
building that and going through that process, I believe that when you're able to go through the process, that builds up your belief system. You know what I'm saying? That allows you to see all the ins and the outs, the strategies that are necessary, the things that you can do, the things that you won't do, the things that you're willing to do. It allows you to see all of that. How far are you willing to go to see your vision manifest? And you have to go through the process because that process, it builds up your strategies, but it also builds up the belief in what you're doing. And I believe to see something develop, you have to believe in what you're doing. There has to be a belief there. There has to be something that resonates inside of you to where you know, hey, no matter what goes on, I believe in this vision. I believe in this idea, this goal that I'm working towards. And I feel that I have what's necessary in order to see that vision be created. But if you have a lack of belief in your abilities in what you want to build, obviously you're not going to be empowered to do anything or successfully do anything, right? And some of the most important aspects of building that foundation include things like defining your mission and your vision. You know, that's the core of what you're wanting to create, because with that core is going to be the guiding light that's going to steer you in the direction that you're needing to go, right? And so in order to achieve your objective, you want to be able to define what your mission is and what your vision is, because those things are key to anything as it relates to the venture that you're pursuing. The other thing is just going to be customer orientation. How well do you know your customer base, right? How well do you know uh, what their problems are, right? How can you implement a solution and what they're dealing with and position your product and services in order to be able to accommodate their needs? You know what I'm saying? Like those things are important. You have to know your audience. You have to know your customer base. You have to know who you're wanting to get in front of in order to be able to shape your offers in a way that resonates with them. And then the last thing is just financial planning. You know what I'm saying? The finances are key when it comes to building a business. Now, obviously, in the beginning,
Yeah.
a lot of times you may not have all the adequate amount of finances that are needed and necessary. And that's okay, right? As E was just saying earlier, it's a process, and you have to go through the process, and you have to be creative as you go through the process, right? But those things are all a part of the bricks that you have to lay in order to have that foundation to build the structure that's going to be needed to see your business thrive and be successful, right? So define your mission and your vision. You know what I'm saying? Be able to understand your customer orientation and your audience, and then do some financial planning. Run the numbers, see what it's going to cost to invest in your vision, see how you can generate capital for the vision, and then from there, as you have those three aspects intact, you'll be able to move towards the next phase of growing, and seeing your business come to fruition.
1000%, man. And perfect segue to the next section, right? So when we talking about knowing your audience, you know, we always like to make things tangible, give really good examples, to kind of really make it stick, right? So knowing your audience, a good example of that comes in the way of Damon John, and I'm sure a lot of y'all know know him by name, but if you don't, he's the renowned entrepreneur and fashion mogul behind FUBU. Now, if you're young, you know, if you was born, you know, 2000 or something like that, you know, FUBU, y'all might be somewhat familiar with it, but back in the, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, FUBU was
Yeah,
big. It was huge. Like, you know, they had FUBU, then they had Platinum FUBU, then they had the like Fat Albert line. It was
yeah,
dope. You know what I mean? And it was expensive. It wasn't cheap. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, FUBU got like knockoff like Air Force Ones and all that. You know, it's not as popping as it was, but it was a high quality brand back in the late 90s, early
yeah, yeah.
2000s. But in the early 90s, you know, Damon recognized an untapped need in the urban fashion market. So specifically for high quality streetwear that resonated with the black community, right? So we talk about knowing your audience. He wanted to appeal to the black community and fill that gap for a high quality streetwear brand. You know, there were high quality luxury brands and things of that nature, but there wasn't like a high quality streetwear brand that, you know, kind of resonated and stuck with the black community, right? So that's why FUBU was created, to fill this gap, right? So Damon's strategic approach to building the brand set the stage for success. So, you know, he started small, you know, brick by brick, right? By sewing hats and then selling them on the streets of Queens, New York. And he did that to gauge the interest and then also to like refine his designs, right? So, like, hey, are people interested in these designs or they're not interested in these designs? Like, hey, do people like this fit or
The
this fit? You know,
process.
yeah, process, right? Brick by brick, again, building. So that grassroots effort, you know, allowed him to connect directly with his target audience, and then he was able to gain valuable insight and build a loyal customer fan base from the ground up. So it's not like he was tapping into another market that was already, you know, established. You know, he was tapping into his hometown market and really kind of building it from the ground up. So Damon's commitment to authenticity, inclusivity played a huge role in establishing FUBU as a cultural phenomenon, and it definitely was a
Yeah,
phenomenon, man. Like
absolutely.
you would have just had to have been there to realize how big it had became. And I remember as a kid it being super cool to me that there was a very popular black owned clothing
Right.
line,
Oh yeah.
because I think there was like
Carl
Carl
Kanai.
Kanai that around that time, but it wasn't to the level of like
Nah.
FUBU though. Like, and honestly, I don't know which came first, but FUBU might have opened the door for him. Don't quote me on that. But at that time, it wasn't a lot of, you know, if any, you know what I mean. It wasn't no Kanye West's with the shoe, you know what I
Right.
mean, and like, it was just a different time. It was very very cool. So you know, it was dope, right? It was definitely a cultural phenomenon. But you know, by Damon embracing the ethos of "for us by us," which is what FUBU stands for, you know, Damon created a brand that not only offers stylish apparel but also embodied a sense of identity and community, which, you know, relates directly back to what I was saying. Like, you know, I felt happy and proud to wear my FUBU jersey, you know what I mean? Or my platinum FUBU, knowing that it was, for us, by us, made and designed by, a black fashion mogul,
Right.
like that was cool, that was very, very cool. So it's Damon's journey just shows that, a well crafted, a well crafted plan, strong foundation that's rooted in the understanding and authenticity can pave the way for entrepreneurial success, right? It just shows you, right? So, well crafted foundation rooted in understanding and authenticity can pave the way for entrepreneurial success. Had to repeat that last part again because I ain't saying it right the first time.
Absolutely.
So, so yeah, man, great example of the importance of building that strong foundation, knowing your target audience, building brick by brick, making adjustments, being agile, pivoting, all those, good things. And then, it led to the success of a very successful clothing line and, eventually made Damon a whole lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Definitely made him a whole lot of money. I mean,
And that a man sits on
yeah.
Shark Tank,
Now
you know
he's
what I'm
now he's
saying?
on Shark Tank and
Along with billionaire Mark Cuban and, a bunch of other very successful
right,
people.
right. And that just goes to show um how when you're able to endure the process, but not only endure the process, having a sense of awareness. And I think that's one of the big things that goes into being a successful entrepreneur. Being aware, being aware of market shifts, being aware of what your customers like and don't like, being aware of challenges that you're having within your business, being aware of the team that you're building, being aware of all the environmental changes, customer needs, all these things, being aware of those things because again, you don't want to walk into anything blindly, right? Like if you're going into wanting to build a business blindly, you're just setting yourself up for failure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like you want to be able to again create a foundation that's going to allow you to be aware of certain things, but put you in the best position to be successful. Because I don't feel that anyone is wanting to invest the time in building a business for it to not be successful. Yes, everybody's path is different. Yes, certain things take more time than others, but even in understanding that if you have a sense of belief in yourself, if you're willing to go through the process, if you have that sense of awareness, you know that it's not going to just take minimal effort. You're going to have to pour yourself into what you're doing. And some of the things that you're going to have to do in order to get to that place where you're confident and you feel empowered and you just have that sense of belief and faith is developing a business plan. I think that's pivotal for all businesses is having some sort of plan. As a saying may go, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So you want to have some sort of plan in place. And that doesn't have to be, you know, um, just perfected in the beginning because the plans do change, because
absolutely.
things change. So you have to be able to be agile and pivot, but having some sort of plan as a blueprint is going to be essential for you, right? And so then the next thing is just investing in people. I think it's very critical to be able to create a team. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to necessarily be a group of 3, 5, 10 people. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't even have to necessarily be financial contribution, but having a circle of people who A, want to partner with you, or B, can be a great sounding board for your ideas and things that you're wanting to do and people that you respect. Because I feel like a feedback is important, and productive and
No, definitely.
constructive feedback
Constructive.
is
Yeah.
important because everybody ain't gonna tell you what you want to hear. And then sometimes people not gonna understand the vision. They're gonna say things that's gonna piss you off and then knock you off your pivot. You know what I'm saying? And so you just want to be aware of who you're talking to. Sometimes it's not good to tell your dreams to everybody, but people that you do trust, being able to have those people surrounding you is beneficial. Next thing is just having a marketing strategy, being able to put yourself in a position where people know who you are, right? You can have a good product, you can have a great service, but if people don't know who you are and you're not marketing it right, it's not going to go anywhere. So have a marketing strategy and then constant evolution and improvement. Again, things change. And because things change, you want to make certain that you're able to assess and then reassess anything that's associated with the performance of your business. So things that need to be changed, change them. Things that's working well, see how you can optimize those things. So doing all the things that's necessary, that's going to allow you to consistently seek improvement is going to be beneficial for your business. And then the last thing is just building relationships with stakeholders, employees, investors, customers, and just keeping them informed and included is vital to just having good business morale and having continuous support, right? And so if there's anybody that's associated with your business and how you're growing your business, communication is key. You want to be able to effectively communicate with who you're dealing with. Me and E, we talk often.
Yeah.
Often may be an understatement. Like we talk all the time. You know what I'm saying? And so we know what's going on from a business perspective and even from a personal perspective. We know a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And so you definitely want to make certain that you're building good relationships. And those things are also bricks that lead to having a solid foundation where you can continue to grow your business and move it forward.
Yeah, 1,000%, man. So, in summary, building a strong business foundation takes time. And we talked about that. We talked about the importance of patience, but it doesn't happen overnight, and you don't want it to happen overnight because that process is where those skills are learned and that strategy is acquired, and all of those good
Right.
things, right? So building a strong business foundation takes time. It's a process of patience, diligence, but anything worth having ain't
Yeah, it
easy,
is.
right? So you got to be persistent, patient, be diligent, and it'll work out for you in the end if you pay attention to those important
Right.
details, right? Now, if you're just rushing, you're just going through the motions, it's not going to just
Yeah.
happen for
You're
you.
skipping
It
steps.
doesn't work that way, right? You're skipping steps, exactly. But when each brick is strategically positioned, the foundation leads to durability and prosperity when storms come, right? So to continue on with the brick analogy, the when the wolf came
Yeah. Yeah.
to after the little piggies, you know what I mean? We had the straw house. I don't even remember what the second house was made
Think
out
what
of.
was it? Was it
Uh,
wood or something like that?
I don't know. But then the last
If
one
it's
was
brick,
brick,
yeah.
right? And he was able to blow them other ones over, right? So think of your business plan and your business foundation in that same way, right? Take your time and build up that brick house so when that big bad wolf come and blow, he don't blow your house down.
Right.
He don't blow your business
Yeah.
down, and now you in shambles, right? So laying one brick at a time, allows that growth, adaptation, and the development of a business capable of enduring the test of time. And it's really really just as simple as that, man. A lot of this stuff don't really be as complicated as a lot of people
Right.
perceive or as a lot of people make it out to be. Now, that's not to downplay the importance and the difficulty, but I don't think the difficulty is actually in the process necessarily. It's in staying consistent.
Yeah.
you know it's in continuously doing those things, even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't want to, even when you're not in the right mental
Right.
space, or so on and so forth. That's where the challenge
Definitely,
comes,
bro.
and we've talked about this before, right? Like, consistency is typically the hardest thing,
Yeah.
like, and if you want proof of that, go to any fitness gym right now. You're gonna see a whole lot of people in there, and keep going for the next month and a half and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna start dwindling
Now, if
out.
you don't make that the next month and a half, that means you ain't being consistent yourself.
Yourself, right? Well, you dwindled out
Right. You
already.
are
You know what I'm
you
saying?
already in phased
You
out.
know what I mean?
You
Yeah,
one of them
right. So
ones.
yeah, so and that's just the reality,
Yeah,
man. A lot of people get comfortable in their life, you know, and in their routine, and anything that is outside of that routine is seen as, you know, like a barrier,
yeah,
or like you know, is kind of negative, viewed negatively, you know. And you know, a lot people say they like change, but a lot of people really don't like
yeah.
change, you know what I mean? They like, and I think most people, it's natural to kind of just go with the
Mhm.
familiar, you know what I mean? But the growth is in challenging yourself and stepping outside of the
Yeah,
familiar, you know. That's really where the growth happens, and if you continuously do that, you learn more. You get better at critical thinking. You know, you're able to solve problems faster. You know, you just become, you know, you know, more quick witted,
yeah.
and you know, it's just all beneficial things. You know, it's like working out, man. You lift heavier weights, you try new exercises, and you do it consistently enough, you build a stronger core. Your muscles, you know, develop. You get better flexibility. You're stronger. You can run longer, better wind, like all those type of things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But just in the sense of business. So, with all that being said, man, you want to add anything? Said.
No, I don't. Mm-mm.
Hey, so hey man, we greatly appreciate y'all, man. We back at it. We happy to be back. We, you know, we had to take some time off to, you know, also unwind, unplug, charge our
Yup.
batteries, right? But we excited. We definitely got a lot of stuff
Mhm.
you know, coming up, and so yeah, just be on the lookout for that,
Absolutely.
man. And y'all know how
Yeah,
it
yeah.
go. If you don't do nothing else,
Keep it
keep it
thorough.
thorough, and we'll holler at
Yes,
y'all next
sir.
time. Deuces.